Hey everybody. I almost debated on whether I was going to make this video or not, but I decided, you know, what the hell, man. So look what kind of a goodies I found on the Electroglide gas tank. So let's get out the flashlight here. Yeah, you see that big hole right there in the tank that I had to cut out. So see if we can get the camera down inside of here. I don't know if you guys can see down inside of there or not. Oh, right there. That's a better shot. Look at all that shit, that tank sealant that came off of the tank. And I was wondering, last year when I cleaned out the carburetor, I was like, oh gee, I wonder why my bike still keeps running so lean. Yeah, it wasn't the jets, you dummy. It was because the petcock was literally filled up with this tank sealant bullshit. I mean, you're literally passing along a time bomb when you put that tank sealant in your tank, folks. I mean, I know I hear you. You know, you got this super expensive paint job and your tank starts leaking and you don't want to weld it. So you put this tank sealant in it, and I don't care who does it and how fucking clean it gets, you're setting somebody else up for disaster, such as myself. You're literally making a time bomb, because 5, 10, 15, 20 years later, that stuff is going to come loose and it's going to create a total mess. See, I've probably been messing around with bikes now since 2010, 2009-ish, 10-ish. And I've probably seen 6 or 7 tanks in my time that were totally useless. I mean, literally, we threw them in the trash because they had this kind of action going on, you know what I mean? But they were much worse time bombs than this thing. This thing wasn't nearly as bad, but I mean, what was I gonna do? I mean, I tried to put a hose onto a vacuum and put it down inside of here and try to suck all the stuff out down inside of the bottom here with a hose on a vacuum. Here, I'll show you exactly what it looks like here. What I did with it, you know, something like this I got going on, you know what I mean, on the end of the vacuum, try to suck out as much stuff, and I still couldn't suck it out. I mean, it was fucking useless. So I literally had to cut it off. Now I'm gonna have to weld this thing back on here, and it's not gonna match up, so I'm gonna have to Mickey Mouse a little piece of metal along the top there. So I would suggest you if you get a leak in your tank, don't put that tank sealant in there. I mean, it's fine and dandy and it sounds cool and it's really sweet because your tank's not leaking anymore, but eventually it's going to give free, and hopefully you're not riding it when it does that. Hopefully you've sold it to some knucklehead like myself and I got to deal with the problem. But literally, if your tank, and this is what probably happened on this tank, it was probably somewhere on here where it was just slightly seeping, which I'm going to have to find that hole and fix that. So, literally, seeping, here, let me show you something. My Sportster tank over here, it was just seeping a little bit along this edge from where I beat it in, right along the seam right here. It was leaking, and actually, it was the other side. But I digress. It was leaking slightly and seeping, you know, and I literally took all the paint off it. This is like 5 years ago, and this is only when I had a MIG welder. It wasn't when I had old trusty Blue over there. And I didn't want to repair it because I just blow a hole right through that really thin sheet metal. So I literally stripped it all away. Got myself some Stay Clean metal cleaner, cleaned it all up with the metal cleaner, and I literally dabbed a little bit of silver on, not silver solder. I literally dabbed a little bit of solder, and with that capillary action, sucked right down inside that hole. 5 years and counting, 3 paint jobs on my Sportster hardtail, beating the shit out of this tank, and it still hasn't leaked yet. So if you don't have a welder, you don't know a welder, but you know how to sweat a copper tube, you too can fix a tank if it's just got a seeping hole, not a hole where it's leaking and dripping. I'm talking a real small, minute hole. Yes, you can fix it with silver, and yes, it will last. 5 years and counting. So getting back to the time bomb here, I don't know what you think about tank sealant, but I don't like it, and I don't suggest it. Find someone who can weld like myself or somebody qualified that can weld on thin sheet metal and go get it fixed. And if your painter's worth his weight in salt, he can blend the paint job all back in real nice so you won't even be able to tell where the repair was. And maybe chances are your painter has some sympathy for your plight, and you know, does you a decent job on the blend. But I doubt it, because blends are hard as hell to do. So yeah, there it is. Tank sealant for me, no dice. I weld it, fix it. See ya.